What's up? It's you guys, Guy. We're back at it with Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. We're getting into the first day of court trials for Case 4. I'm very excited. Let's get into it.
A courtroom lobby, my beloved.
For real. Number 6.
Oh my god, there's more than 4?
Apparently.
Jeez.
October 8th, 9:48 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 6. Good morning.
So, you're Vera, right? I'm Trucy. Trucy Wright. That's right with a W. But not right, right? We're on your side. You can tell us anything, please?
Good morning. She speaks.
Not bad, not bad. But I think you do better with a little smile, you know?
Trucy, no. No, the patriarchy's gotten you.
Everyone looks better with a smile. You're never fully dressed without one. You're so pretty. You need to sell yourself, you know?
No, the patriarchy. Trucy, let's take it easy for starters. Thank you for taking my case. Okay, well, that's a start, I guess. There she goes with the nail polish again.
It's great, really. It's so cultured.
That must be her good luck charm. Want to try?
Ooh, really?
Girls.
He's wearing gloves. Can't put nail polish on, she's got gloves on.
The victim, Drew Misham, was a forger. And a stolen painting was found in his studio. A life of crime, really. And maybe one that led to his death. October 8th, 10 a.m., District Court, Courtroom number 3.
Hey! Well, we were now, begin the, trial of Vera Misham.
The judge okay?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
His voice is all raspy and he's looking around all nervous like. Is he sick?
Him. The repercussions of today's trial will most likely be felt for a long time, and may indeed alter our legal system forever. Today is a test of the juris system.
Oh my god, hi, Chloe.
Hey, Clove here. Oh my god. Nice to see you again.
It's the first step towards a new order in our courts.
A secret mission.
The jurist will function like a jury.
Damn, maybe that's why they're called a jury.
It's crazy, right? It is hoped their inclusion will help the courts to better reflect the people's will.
Why aren't there any jurists in the courtroom?
3 closed-circuit cameras watch this courtroom at all times. Jurists have access to everything that transpires.
They've got the 3 angles like we do. The back and forth between defense and prosecution, the, like, judge POV, and then the, like, zoomed out POV.
We have one of those little tripods that move around and to detect movement, and they just automatically rotate towards whoever's talking.
Oh, yeah.
Jurists, Judge Vel and Judge Cool. Wie cool ist das, bitte? Now see here, Prosecutor Gavin. I was going to say that.
How were you?
My apologies there, Judge. Jurists, today, judge today's trial coolly, if you would be so kind.
The jurists are unbound by the letter of the law. The fuck? They don't affect the trial with evidence, but by their feelings. We're about to find out just what effect they're going to have.
Very well, Prosecutor Gavin. The details of the case, if you would. The victim is the painter Drew Misham. He was killed in his own studio. His coffee was poisoned. By whom, you ask? Objection! By none other than the defendant, Vera Misham.
There wasn't any poison in the coffee.
Achtung! Someone has been doing their homework.
Bet your ass I am.
Indeed. Poison was not present in the coffee, but on the mug itself.
And on a place you might not be aware of, dear Clavier. We'll get there.
The mug! Ah, residue was found on the rim, I see. The autopsy report describes the manner of our victim's death.
Give it.
Court accepts this as evidence. I've added, Apollo.
According to this report, fuck you, I'm gonna open it myself.
Okay.
Okay. Between 9 and 9:30 p.m. God damn it.
I think that was the same time frame as lettuce.
It was, yeah. But also, that is a wide range.
Yeah.
Which means, okay, the coffee time does line up. I mean, that'd be way too obvious for, like, the 4th game in this series.
Victim's death was caused by atroquinine poisoning. A chemical compound that does not occur naturally. Lethal dosage is a mere 0.002 milligrams.
Good God.
Touch of atroquinine in the body is the touch of the Reaper's scythe.
I will.
Very well, Prosecutor Gavin. You may present your witness. I have for you today a simple man for a simple case. Oh, God. A man who witnessed the murder in its entirety.
That journalist, no doubt.
The witness will state his name and occupation. Oh God, what a horrible creature. Ah, right. Well, for starters, my name's Spark Brushel. My job is a lone observer of the world.
In other words, a freelance journalist, right?
If you don't mind, I'd like to state something here for the record.
Yes, everything here is for the record.
Yes, Mr. Brussel. I dislike conclusions, specifically the aspect of jumping to conclusions.
We're in for a long one, folks.
Preconceptions make Park Sandbox of endless desert waste, end quote.
But you are a journalist. You said so yourself yesterday.
Well, that's true, yes.
But I was making a conclusion about myself.
But you must understand, I stand before you as a man with a dream. I'm offering you my testimony in exchange for exclusive rights to the story. Scoop turns Mr. Brushel into that Mr. Brushel, end quote.
I think you're already that Mr. Brushel.
I don't know any other Mr. Brushels. Let's hear your testimony then, shall we?
A simple case, eh, Gavin? For me, the jury's still out.
He's got jokes, this guy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. I visited the studio around 9 that night to do the interview. The first outsider to enter the atelier, journalistic history made, end quote. His daughter brought us coffee right after we started. And you know what happened next? Star falls, end quote. No one else entered the room besides her the whole time. I hate that weird little, like, finger thing he does, where he's,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
gesturing. I really dislike that. Something about it is, like, uncomfortable.
Everything about him is
That does sound like
uncomfortable.
a simple case. That's true. Unless you were the one who poisoned him.
Alright, the judge is already making that jump. Love that.
But what are you saying, Judge? Him. Need I remind you the cameras are rolling today?
So I'm trying to be cooler than normal and look less dumb than normal.
I felt the need to be a bit dramatic.
As if there isn't an audience to every court case we have.
Honestly, the judge is so relatable because the second I know there's an audience, I'm like, okay, time to be outgoing and silly. And if there isn't, then I'm like, okay, I'm me.
For real.
You didn't do it, did you? Made you think like that? Come on! That's like... newsmaker making the news, end quote.
I don't think you realize how that sounds, Mr. Analogy Man.
Or even contemporary witch cunt, end quote. I know, wild accusations rock courtroom, end quote.
Did he just have a fucking, like, red nose there for a second?
Been doing that.
Oh.
Every once in a while, his nose gets big and red, and it's scary every time.
That's the first time I've been, like, looking at his face when it happens, I guess.
Yeah, I try to avoid his
I
face
also
when
try
I
to avoid
can.
his face.
Ha ha ha. Rock indeed.
Senior Gavin sure looks like he's having fun.
I'm so happy for him.
Bet you are.
Very well, Mr. Justice, your cross-examination, please.
Alright.
It's always gotta be like one freak in an Ace Attorney game.
9 o'clock at night? Isn't that a little late for an interview?
If the great painter Drew Misham says come at 9, believe you me, I go at 9.
So he requested the time. Interesting.
The first, and as it turned out, last interview with such a prolific painter.
Did you even get anything out of him?
No.
Right. Can you tell us what it was like when you arrived? Hold it! What's this about a star falling?
Star Falls, huh? It's like an old telegram. And money, over.
Dowie, you don't know? That's like a journalism code word.
Yeah, how do you not know that? Like, that's pretty fucking obvious, Apollo.
Yeah.
The victim died.
An important personage passes away. A star falls. Get it?
There's no gravity in space, is there?
Now you want to use logic?
Wouldn't think stars could fall, really.
Does this matter?
Oh boy, this is good stuff. Good stuff. Quote, star breaks. Nah, lacks punch. I know, a star dies. Nah, lacks imagination. Of course, you could go with Drew dies. Straight to the point. I like it.
Also alliteration. I think we need to hear about something a little more substantial. About when Mr. Misham passed away.
Hoo boy, what a scene that was. He puts his coffee mug down with a crash, right?
With a crash? Interesting
The
wording.
crash.
I'm gonna need you to elaborate. Did he set the mug down as he was falling? Did he set the mug down, like, abruptly, possibly angrily? Work with me here.
Yes, and then? Then the cold finger of death touches his spine. Life's flame sputters and fails. So cold was that touch he could do naught but tremble uncontrollably.
So
Sounds
he was spasming.
painful.
Yeah. That makes sense. Some poisons do that.
Very scary. Actually, Life's flame is a little tired. Life's river froze over. Yes, that's a go.
I think he's starting his article already.
For how much he's writing on his arm, there sure is a lack of ink on there.
He's got really small handwriting, like microscopic.
Gotta be of how much he's written on there and hasn't washed off. could you describe that a little more simply?
Well, as you can imagine, I was pretty surprised. Hit the floor, as they say. Artist Caesar's final performance, end quote. Atropine paralyzes the central nervous system. Body arches back like a bow. The limbs tremble as his throat burns. That's quite enough of that.
Are those lyrics from his song?
I'd hope so.
He looks so pretty when he explains things. I'm not for the patriarchy, but I'll let him mansplain to me.
Evan's the type of guy to be like, oh, so you listen to Radiohead, I know all about Radiohead. Let me explain the entire discography to you. And I would let him. I would let him explain everything to me. Some of us want to be able to sleep tonight. Oh, yeah? Well, I want details. Lots of juicy details. That, you can listen to our last year's hit single.
Ha! I bet they are lyrics.
We're here to chill.
I'm gonna have to go pull it up now. Well, like, afterwards, but...
Turkina, My Love by the Gaviniers. Available at all major music outlets.
So if I go to my local record store right now...
Boyd here is a victim died of atropine poisoning. Well, Mr. Justice, how'd you find that testimony?
So we'll say it was important. Well, as an account of the moment of the victim's death, I'd say it's very important. Please add it to the testimony.
Very well, the court requests this witness add this account to his testimony.
Don't tell me we have to fucking find the right thing to get added to the testimony and then present something to it.
We probably do, honestly.
Oh! Hold it! You say it was definitely death by poison. How can you be so sure?
Hey, look, I'm a journalist. I've seen a lot of things. And I've had more than my share of experiences with so-called poisonings. What the fuck does that mean? Man eats fishy fish, goes bye-bye, end quote.
Food poisoning doesn't count. Should I get him to talk about something else? Oh, this is what we're talking about. Okay. We'll save that for a sec.
Or coffee?
You say Mr. Misham had the coffee too, but did you actually see him drink the coffee?
Of course! He who sees it wins, but he who says it wins bigger, end quote.
True.
I live in a man sees dog eat dog and writes about it world. Yet. I guess I can't say I saw him drink it, really.
Interesting.
He had one so-called sip, if that. And poked slips to mug. Drinks? End quote. Poison is quite virulent, I hear. My stomach did a so-called somersault.
Is that really how you spell somersault?
I guess so. Since I'd gulped down some of that coffee without so much of a second glance at it. No, it's like almost 2 a.m. I kind of want to make coffee now that they're talking about it.
Damn.
Wait, maybe something's there. Some kind of so-called trick. Anyone want to venture a guess for the record?
Does this guy have a pause button?
No. Well, Mr. Justice, you find that testimony valuable?
I don't think this will reflect poorly on us. So,
Yeah, I don't think so either.
cycle through him. The victim drank his coffee, then immediately fell over?
Yes, you can go to press with...
Interesting.
Very interesting.
We'll press this for... So he either took a sip, or he didn't. And then he fell over?
Oh yes, indubitably. Just like that. Wham bam. Thank you, ma'am.
So Mr. Misham drank the coffee and fell over immediately. I think Russell's telling the truth. Okay, so assuming this is correct, Emma said that the poison takes about 15 minutes, maybe more. Which means that, like, the poison hit his system before 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because for it to activate at 9 o'clock, it had to be, like, 8:45 when he was exposed. And we know that, like, the small picture frame was what exposed him. But how we get to that, I don't know. The only thing I can think of is that it held a picture of his wife or something, and he was smooching it. And then bada bing, bada boom.
I mean, I guess it could be the other way around, where, like... No, it couldn't, actually, because the coffee was served, like, right before he died.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, maybe it was on the mug, and then he took a sip, and then went, hang on, I gotta smooch my picture quick.
That would be funny. But he wouldn't have had time to get over to where the picture frame was, because he spasmed, like,
yeah.
the paintings, not on the science side. Alright, what do we have? Fuck it. Objection! No music, I think we're good.
Hey!
You know what I have a problem with? A particular property of the poison used. How the fuck do you say that again?
Atrakinine.
Atrakinine. Okay.
Oh, Prosecutor Gavin was quite clear about the poison. Lethal dosage of 0.002 milligrams paralyzes the central nervous system. Drank that, even you, Mr. Justice, would be reduced to a quivering pile.
I'd prefer not to think about it, but that's not the point I'm getting at, Your Honor. Unfortunately, we weren't told everything. There's a vital omission in Prosecutor Gavin's information. Look at him.
My song not enough for you?
Maybe you should have just listened to my song.
An omission?
Atrakinine is as virulent. That's how you say that? Virulent?
Maybe.
Whatever. As he says. But death doesn't come upon ingestion. Not immediately. That's because atrakinine is slow acting.
Slow acting? What?
According to one forensic scientist,
one of the most virulent poisons, but is absorbed into the body astonishingly slowly. It's at least 15 minutes for the time of ingestion for adverse effects to show.
If we suppose that the moment Mr. Misham sipped the coffee was when he sealed his fate, then he would still have had time left to enjoy his last cup of joe. Oh my god, he's even worse than mine.
Oh my god. Order, what's the meaning of this? What the defense says is correct. Wait, that contradicts the entire testimony we just heard.
Well, Mr. Brushel, anything to say on the record?
Slow acting. SLOWACT. It was virulent, alright. Even then, it had already begun digging its claws into the journalist. Working on his scoop.
Objection!
It's Brushel, yeah? Well, Brushel, let's take a trip back down memory lane. Did the victim really die the instant he took a sip?
And that's the thing about these questions, is that if you were against Edgeworth, especially in the early games, then a question like this would be like, oh, he's feeding the witness more lies to tell. But when Clavier asks questions, they're genuine questions.
That's why we love him.
That's why we love him.
Think it over. This is vital. You know what I think? I think that was a not-so-subliminal suggestion, end quote.
If you were Miles Edgeworth, maybe. But this is Clavier Gavin we're talking about. We need the answer to this question.
Admit it does cause a problem if he died when you say he died. would be forced to say Auf Wiedersehen to my simple case. And you would be forced to say farewell to your article. Again,
My article?
you can't write a story based on conjecture, can you?
You can try.
And as the case drags on, other reporters will pick up the scent. And you'll be forced to kiss your exclusive scoop goodbye. Scoop. That's the fucking
Oh, I
sprite.
saw.
That was the sprite I was talking about.
We're gonna
That.
skip past that. We're gonna skip
I
past
hate
that.
him. I hate him. I need him dead. Look, wait. Just wait a second. Just 1 second. We're waiting. Out with it. I think I just recalled a so-called important detail. I was doing the judge voice a little bit. What am I? Where am I? A revival of recollection, end quote. A story survival, end quote.
Attorney utterly confused, end quote.
Actually, I did notice something when I visited the studio. I've heard of poison that takes its sweet time, see? But not what I've been saying for the past few minutes, apparently. Mr. Brussel, are you saying you noticed something that explains what happened?
Is it that secret top shelf that I couldn't get to?
You bet I am. The antidote for a poisonous contradiction, end quote, you might say.
Or, I still have no idea what you're talking about, end quote, I might say.
I figured it out, but only after an in-depth interview.
This fucker gets the point.
See, thanks to my journalism skills, I know who poisoned that coffee.
Objection, it wasn't in the coffee.
Uh,
He's like fucking Baldy from Baldy's Basics.
he is! Order. As far as I can tell, the witness is standing by his testimony. That Mr. Misham died the instant after he drank.
Which is not a problem for us.
Of course I'm standing by my testimony. And my dream of exclusive rights to this story. I suppose it was too much to hope for.
Clavia Gavin. This was orchestrated by Phoenix Wright. I mean, not the killing, but, this whole trial thing that we're doing today. So, simple is out the window.
Yeah.
What was?
Of course he wouldn't choose a simple case. Not him.
Literally.
Yeah. Him? Phoenix Wright. Who else?
Gasp.
Achtung, Herr Bruschel. Report for us, if you would. What is it that you noticed? This court is a critical trial of the juris system. I'm afraid no room for doubt is permissible. You will testify to the court about what you noticed. When I arrived at the studio, Mr. Misham was at his desk. He seemed to be writing a letter, but he quickly sealed the envelope. I thought nothing of it at the time, of course. Now that I think about it, what if he was writing a suicide note?
Honestly, a possibility at present.
Yes. A suicide note. Yes, he had this look on his face.
I mean, with that tiny picture frame, it seems so inconspicuous. Maybe he did just, like, fucking store the poison in there and was like, if I ever get caught, then I'll just, like, make out with this picture of my wife.
Man's face inscrutable as a quadratic equation, end quote.
Suicide? Poor Mr. Misham.
We don't have confirmation yet.
That means Vera's innocent.
We don't have confirmation yet. Don't jump the gun. Would someone commit suicide in the middle of an interview?
Oh.
Very well, you may begin your cross-examination.
Hold it!
So he put the letter away when he saw you?
Early reporter gets worm, end quote.
Tell me, what did this letter look like?
That's my secret.
I just need confirmation that it is what I think it is. I'm not sure I follow.
It's the night of the interview. I arrived 15 minutes ahead of schedule.
Is that so?
Interesting. The handle turns, the door opens, and I barge in.
Are you sure that's okay to do? Isn't that unlawful entry, really?
Sorry, I was yawning. Mr. Misham sure seemed to think so. You should have seen him. He crammed his letter in that yellow envelope as fast as he could.
Yellow.
Hello. Either he's colorblind or there was another letter.
I'll have him add it to the testimony.
I know a secret when I spot one, and that was one. Does seem significant. Well, Mr. Justice?
I wonder... It does have the ring of something important. The defense finds this testimony vital, Your Honor.
Very well, please add it to the testimony then. Hey, why not? My account comes free of charge.
I thought your business card said top dollar for information.
Yeah.
But whatever, if you're not charging us, it's for the better.
It
Maybe
was
we'll
left
circle
at
back
the
to
crime
that.
scene.
Nah, we'll keep going in order.
Hold it!
And you saw him seal this yellow envelope with the letter?
Hey, don't look at me like that. I saw what I saw.
Apollo, you think this might be...
I think so. Our big break? Yeah. What I need is to show some decisive evidence now. Yeah, we'll get there.
Hold it!
You didn't think anything might be wrong at the time?
Hey, when I go in for an interview, that's what I'm there to do. Interviewer finds looking more effective than caring, end quote.
So what about now? Thinking back on it, did you sense anything strange in Mr. Mission's behavior? Did he perhaps kiss a small picture frame?
Well, yeah. That's why I'm telling you this to begin with. Very well, continue with your testimony.
God damn it. Did he kiss the picture frame?
Hold it!
A suicide note?
Well, yeah, don't quote me or anything. I'm just saying it's a possibility, you know?
So you didn't actually check the letter.
Of course not. It was sealed.
Sealed. Interesting.
Contents of can unknown until can is opened, end quote.
You always check the label.
Think Mr. Misham was writing a suicide note?
No. If he was, that would solve the case in a jiffy.
Kinda makes me wonder about that letter.
The only other letter there is this one.
That wasn't at the scene.
It was
It's also
not.
not yellow.
But, like, we don't have anything yellow here.
I think maybe where he talks about the yellow thing, we're supposed to present the red thing and be like, it wasn't yellow, but I don't know.
This is what we save for. So, let's try it.
Objection!
Uh-oh.
No.
Damn. Nope, didn't happen. Should've been, yeah. Or guess not? Letter. Yellow.
The yellow.
Yeah. Did I not have it on?
Objection!
shit.
I think it was just on the first one.
Oh shit. Well, that would have done it. Whatever. Didn't happen. We got it right first try.
Yeah.
As it just
We
so
were
happens,
on the right thing, so
Yeah.
it's like, you know.
As it just so happens, there was a single letter in a desk drawer at the scene. In a red envelope.
What?
Oh, that's an
Ew.
interesting one.
I forgot he did that.
Prosecutor Gavin.
Yes.
Oh my god, he's talking to me. Was the yellow envelope found at the scene of the crime?
Unfortunately, no. But our forehead. It's easy to mistake the color of an envelope. It's fucking not.
It's really not. I guess, but not this envelope. You see, it was postmarked already. 7 years ago.
Well, Mr. Brushel, I can explain that.
Can you?
Can you? Drew, right. He wanted to get that letter in an envelope pronto. Get it out of sight with my beady eyes, right? We grabbed the nearest envelope and crammed away.
Then why the fuck did you say it was yellow?
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
Well, Mr. Justice, have you anything to say about your witness's claim?
A lot to say about it. That night, the victim put the letter he had been writing in a red envelope. It's impossible.
Yeah.
That's impossible.
Ah, I like your expression. So full of confidence.
He likes my expression.
My god!
It's simple, really. As it just so happens, the defense team investigated the contents of this envelope, with the assistance of a forensic scientist.
But
I'm not naming names. I'm not naming names.
we don't snitch on Emma Sky. I mean, I didn't say that.
Note that this letter is addressed to Drew Misham.
Oh?
Why would he address a letter to himself? Let alone send a suicide note to himself.
I've been scooped! Oh, that back portrait is really
Holy
horrendous.
basics looking motherfucker.
Order, order, order. Mr. Brushel, can you explain this to the court? Oh, my, how could I have forgotten? I suppose this happens to the best of us. Reporter gets old, forgets lots, end quote. How old is he? For an explanation, Mr. Brushel. Well, that's the thing, see? After he put his letter in this envelope...
That suspicious yellow envelope we still don't know the whereabouts of.
Mr. Misham sat there searching his desk drawer for something.
His desk drawer?
Yes, a stamp. A so-called postage stamp, end quote.
Okay, this is getting excessive.
Oh, I just started reading that in my voice. A stamp? Whatever for? Well, to mail his letter. What no. And then, why yes, I think I saw him put it in his letterbox.
The letterbox.
Yes, it was a yellow envelope and he put it in that box. Well, apparently, this yellow letter has nothing to do with this case. Oh, how I wish it did.
It might have everything to do with this case, actually. Stop
Yeah.
jumping, dear judge.
He's jumping for joy. Just think if that were a suicide note. What a story. A man has died, Brushel. Star writes suicide note in front of reporter, falls, end quote. Ahem. As I was saying, that has nothing to do with this case.
But can you prove it, judge?
Yeah. That said,
Yes, Your Honor?
makes me wonder about the contents of that red envelope.
Oh yeah, we should probably show you that. It's very interesting.
$100,000 is quite a good deal of money.
Yep.
So this was from 7 years ago, yeah? So, am I finished? Here, I mean, am I finished here?
Please tell me he's finished here.
I was thinking of, going home to start writing.
I hate to state what should be pretty obvious to anyone, but when you catch the scent of a story, you make that, rather unique face.
Ash, come on. Hermie has active imagination, little else, end quote.
Fuck you.
Even I noticed something, and my eyes aren't what they used to be. No, I'm starting to understand what all this perceiving stuff is about.
That's so silly goofy, but also I'm so proud of you, Judge. This is
Yeah.
like the most blatantly laid out habit ever. Just end quote.
Please continue with your testimony. Tell us about the scent of a story. Hey, I'm the one asking the questions here. Usually. Actually, it took a bit of work to get a thumbs up on the interview. Porter leverages story, gets his interview, end quote. The story concerned a certain case from 7 years ago.
7
Ooh,
years
lucky
ago.
number 7. That red envelope probably had something to do with it. Say what you will, but Drew's stunt was without compare.
You mean his talent to copy shit like a printer?
Yeah. So you threatened to go to press with this story. That's how you ought to interview? Blackmail? Oh, yes. We know. No.
I was gonna say, isn't that also a crime?
But not an ace attorney, it's not. Wasn't actually black. I mean, I'm not... Something wrong, Mr. Brushel. Look. This is my story, my tidbit. Journalist info is livelihood, end quote.
Top dollar for information, end quote.
Dollar for information. I see. While you have me chatting away in here, what's going on out there? Some Wally Wordsworth or Sally Scooper gets wind of my story. They could be going to press while I'm going to waste. The court feels your pain, Mr. Brushel. Mr. Justice, let's pick up the pace.
Believe me,
Want
I'd
this guy
love to.
out.
A certain case, 7 years ago. Wait, 7 years ago?
7 years ago. Question mark?
Hold it!
The victim, Drew Misham, had an aversion to reporters?
Boy, I guess. Not even my considerable charms did much for him. Until I finally got my thumbs up, that is. Maybe you can elaborate on that a bit for us?
Oh, we can use
Oh, the
the
bracelet's
bracelet. Interesting. So we gotta look for his tell. I feel like he has a lot of talents.
Yeah, probably.
Whatever. Anyway.
Hold it!
Oh, I remember what his tell is. Ew, sorry. I hate him.
Is his tell something that we haven't seen yet?
Yes.
Oh no. Oh god, no. Exactly what sort of story was this?
Oh, little one, like I said. Nothing more, nothing less, nothing in between, end quote. Might have suggested I had a lead on this particular story.
From 7 years ago.
But I didn't threaten or cajole or nothing, honest.
So suggestion was enough to get an interview. Mr. Misham must have really wanted to keep it under wraps.
Hold it!
A certain case? 7 years ago? Tell us, what case?
It was 7 years ago. Let me state one thing, Mr. Attorney, and you can quote me on this. I can't talk about that case.
Are you under an NDA?
It was 7 years ago.
Why not?
About journalistic pride and staunchness and credibility and connections. Journalists reveal sources only over his dead body, end quote. So what'll it be? Gonna strangle me? Dead men don't tell tales, Mr. Attorney.
He sounds pretty determined not to talk.
Chances of breaking his will aren't looking good.
Hold it!
On the one hand, we have your story, and on the other, this letter. What makes you think the two are related?
I was just saying it's possible.
I think this is the one we have to use the ring on. Or bracelet, sorry.
Call it reporter's intuition, end quote. Hey, I say a lot of things. You gotta pick all of them apart and be my guest.
No, just the incredibly suspicious ones.
I see. Anything else to add about Mr. Misham?
Hold it!
Without compare, he was a forger. Just how amazing was Mr. Misham's talent?
Huh? Ooh-wee, boy. I mean, hey, he's a star, man, a star. Flow of his brushes like a great undulating river across the canvas. Artist paints light up studio like sun, end quote.
This guy's full of wacky gestures. But that one just now was wackier than usual.
Looks kind of nervous to me, Apollo.
I was not paying attention. I
wasn't either.
I was actively trying to avoid looking at him.
I was as well. I cannot stand him.
Definitely, I'm sensing something different than before here. Maybe it's time to bring out you know what. Well, thanks for fucking handing it to me.
That testimony left a bad taste in my mouth.
It all makes sense. Nothing jumps out as ridiculous.
I wonder what this story he's talking about is.
Oh, Trucy. Trucy.
Must have been good to get an interview with a famous recluse like that.
Something powerful enough to draw true Misham out of hiding. I wonder... Maybe it could do something with Mr. Misham's art? Alright, so we're gonna circle back to that last one. And we're gonna... Red envelope, blah blah blah. See, your movement for just this one is just the, like, brush smacking.
There could be something secret with it.
I mean, there usually is, because if they just laid it out flatly, it'd be too obvious, you know? Anyway, bracelet time!
I do wish they did sometimes, though. I feel like that would be kind of neat, especially
why
if it's
do we
like
have to
something really
bracelet
little.
this guy?
I hate his teeth.
Okay, what else is there to tell? Where's your other hand? Can't even see it. Oh, found it. Oh, cancel. That's weird as hell.
Gross, sweaty, stinky armpit. Ew, I hate him.
Sweat much, Mr. Russell?
Work? Yeah, well... Man can't help his glands, you know?
It's more than that. When Mr. Misham's talent was mentioned, you suddenly began to sweat buckets.
Ack! What? Why was...
That's what this
His
pose
mouth
is.
was moving, but that's Apollo.
Yeah, that threw me off for a second too. But also, that's what this pose is. He's airing out his pits.
Oh. I still hate it.
I also still hate it. You're hiding something about his talent.
What? That's ridiculous.
Evidence time.
Real time.
Let's show where Mr. Misham's true talent lay. Just so happens I have the evidence showing the talent mentioned in that letter. There's only one letter. They're spelling it out for us. Apollo, I'm trusting you.
Take that!
I can't help but wonder what the court is supposed to conclude from this evidence. Oh, you shouldn't have trusted Apollo.
Apollo!
I think it is the painting. It's
Oh,
talking about the talent, and it's like, oh, he's forging.
yeah.
Seems you've made a terrible mistake, haven't you?
Apollo, I'm gonna fucking end you.
It's not his fault. He's trying his best.
Showing them. Nah. Okay.
Orange plum? I thought it was a peach.
Interesting. Maybe it is the sketch. We'll try this
I'm
one.
assuming it's the hidden one, because that's the one that was stolen, right?
Yeah. Unfortunately, the description of this doesn't say anything about it being the stolen one.
Yeah, but that's the one that made us be like, oh shit, he's creating forgeries.
Yeah. Alright, we'll try it.
Take that!
Thank fuck.
Okay.
Alright. This painting was found in Mr. Misham's studio. There are two problems with this painting. The first is that it wasn't painted by Mr. Misham. The second is that there was another painting in the studio, which looked exactly like this one, except it was only half done. Then we have a letter discussing a payment of $100,000, which suggests a certain business operation. The business of making forgeries.
Auga.
Aug.
Awooga. That's what I say every time I see Clavier.
For real. That is all, Your Honor.
Everyone, please, everyone. Can we keep this private, please? This is my story, my scoop. Forgery, that's a serious crime. Drew Misham is known as an artist these days. There were rumors he dabbled in another kind of art until a few years back.
How many years?
7. Another art meaning forgery? Drew Misham was talented, alright. Talented at making precise, detailed fakes. The fact that certain criminal elements were quick to discover.
Criminal elements? What? You can't seriously be talking about.
Exactly. I'm talking about forging evidence.
Ooh. I wonder if a certain attorney reached out for a case that was, say, 7 years ago.
The rumors started circulating 7 years ago. 7 years ago? That was 7 years ago! So are we to understand that this letter This payment of $100,000 was for... Exactly. Forged evidence nets tidy profit, end quote. Order, order, order. It's like our victim was living a double life.
Aha, this is my chance. So the victim had ties to the criminal world, right? He could have had plenty of enemies we know nothing about.
This is my first time hearing of this criminal world.
Javier, how long have you been a prosecutor?
I didn't know criminals existed until like 2 days ago. We certainly found no criminal connections when we conducted our investigation.
Objection!
But how do you explain all this money? You have to admit there's a possibility of some illegal activity here.
But there is no proof tying this letter to our case. It was in his fucking desk. It belonged to the victim.
Yes, but it's a 7-year-old letter. What proof? What use does it have now?
The fact that he has it still. I don't have any letters I got like a week ago. Why would I have one from 7 years ago?
I don't know, some people are too lazy to throw out their junk mail.
Our case was, and remains, simple from the beginning. Even though I said it would not be simple because Phoenix Wright picks this, but whatever, it's simple. Only the defendant could have poisoned that mug that night.
You really did miss the picture frame, didn't you?
Ah,
He must
you
have.
watch picture frame.
Because as soon as we bring in the fact that the picture frame had poison on it, that unravels his whole thing.
And you, of course. Hey, the only thing I poison is my pen when I'm writing reviews. Mr. Brushel, your testimony up to this point has been quite unreliable. It doesn't speak well of your reporting acumen. What are you talking about? My journalism's rock solid. Journalism so bold you could stand an elephant on it, end quote.
An elephant, you say?
An elephant?
I was gonna make a joke about the Very Big Circus, but
Yeah, I don't remember the elephant's name.
I think it was Estique?
Yeah, Estique the Asian elephant.
Yes.
In any case, let's hear a summarized recap of your testimony. I'm glad you brought it up because I was also trying to make a joke, but I just couldn't think of anything.
Yeah, I couldn't either. Like, it's there. There's something, but whatever.
If we can ascertain the situation in the studio from the recap, the trial is over.
Apollo, what's he talking about?
The cross-examination showed Mr. Brussel didn't have any reason or means to poison him. As long as there's no other suspects. And the killer had to be Vera. That's what. This next testimony is our last chance.
Mr. Brushel, your testimony, please. The only other person in the studio that night was the defendant. There's Vera, who poured the coffee. She's admitted as much herself.
On record? With who? Do we have that record?
Only thing that touched Drew's lips during the interview was that mug. And nothing left the studio after he died. Nothing.
Yeah, that's why the picture frame's still there.
Really, the only one who could have poisoned him was his daughter.
Blatant lying.
Nice testimony. Clear, succinct, and without room for doubt. Aw, shucks. You really think so? I believe this clarifies the situation that night. Very well, Mr. Justice. You may begin your final cross-examination.
With pleasure. I still have one trump card left to play, and I won't let this trial end until I use it. The picture frame, yeah. They're definitely pushing for that. And you witnessed her pouring the coffee.
Of course I didn't witness it when she came in with that tray. Coffee was already poured and steaming. Let us not forget the defendant has admitted to pouring the coffee herself.
Where is that record? Again, you keep saying that, and like, I'm willing to believe
Dude,
you.
just trust me.
Like, if you're making me present evidence on everything, you should too.
Like, I totally swear that she said it, and I'm not making this up. I heard her statement. I poured, I served, and I killed.
Oh,
That's what she said. Trust me, trust me, trust me. Don't be suspicious.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Ha 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 ha. That last part was just a little joke. I'm feeling a little silly.
I don't think I'm gonna get anywhere with this coffee mug. I need to find another weak spot in this case. Yeah, getting there. Just covering my bases.
Hold it!
You're sure about that?
Well, to be really, really precise, I was busy gobbling mint candies the whole time.
Interesting. One of those candies might have been poisoned.
That's at the time of the autopsy. No fresh fragrance of mint fills the room.
That's not how that works. That is distinctly not how that works. Whatever.
And no mint residue was found.
Okay, that's more solid. It was a long shot anyway.
Don't tell me you're still trying to prove this.
No, just covering my bases.
Since the victim ate, drank, or otherwise ingested something other than coffee?
Yeah, the poison.
Well, Mr. Justice, you have some kind of proof.
The possibility's there, I can feel it. Just maybe not prove it. Not yet. And possibility isn't going to cut it. Not now. Mr. Misham ingested that poison via a route other than coffee. We'll circle back to it. Let me continue with covering my bases.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
It just saved. Just auto-saved.
Oh. Oh.
But see, that's the thing. It auto-saved. It wouldn't auto-save on a failure, right?
Probably.
Oh well, we're in it now.
I do believe our little forehead is growing up. Aw, that's cute. See, feel like Sarash useful forehead best. Can't handle change.
Who is we? Who is we?
Don't worry about it. All of us, right? Right, everyone? All of us, not just me.
Sigh. Another hole in this case that needs plugging before I can prove anything. First things first, I better uncover a weak spot before I try and strike again.
On with the cross-examination. Okay, we're good.
Okay. Thank
The
you.
fact that the music cut out scared me.
Yeah, no, like... I thought that would just let me get back to the regular cross-examination, not fucking...
Yeah.
Oh, God. Anyway, the other stuff.
Hold it!
Not one thing. You're sure?
Yep, sure as sure can be. Well, with one exception.
Motherfucker.
One exception? What? Journalist Spark Brushel does interview, leave studio, end quote. Alright. Come on. It's a joke. Get it? Not funny, I know, but still.
Did something leave the studio that night? Why does that sound familiar? Where have I heard something like that before?
Now that we've proven our witness is a comedian of a sort.
I haven't even finished my fucking cross-examination.
I'd like to turn to our defense attorney before returning to the testimony. Apollo, should we kill this guy? Do you have any idea what, if anything, might have left the studio that night?
I'm gonna say not a
Good
thing.
old Feeny for you.
I can't think of a single thing. I mean, I can, but
Uh,
let me cover my bases first. If anything did leave, wouldn't Mr. Brushel have noticed? Unless he took it himself, like, I don't know, maybe that quill in his pocket? I don't know.
That I would. Nothing left, save myself, of course.
He does also have, like, a paint tube in his pocket.
Yeah! I guess that is probably paint. I was thinking that's like an inkwell or something, but
Not the right shape.
they aren't usually long,
Yeah.
so... Say that again and you'll be held in contempt of court. Let's get back to the cross-examination then.
Okay, thank goodness. Right, that's that. You say clearly as though it were obvious. But this claim that the defendant poisoned the victim is merely conjecture.
Ah, yes, well, you see... In my business, it's all about making the most ridiculous things sound right.
That should, like, tear apart your whole entire testimony right there, just by saying that.
A bad habit, I know.
The judge agrees.
Yeah.
Clavier agrees.
Yes, well, actually... I guess this is more a case of ridiculous journalist sounds wrong, end quote. The court is forced to agree with you. Please refrain from wild conjecture. Understood loud and clear.
If only I could believe that.
What do you think, Apollo? Everything he's saying seems so not flawed.
He's forgetting a vital point, but we just have to figure it out. We'll get there. Well, that's kind of what you want from a testimony, really. I need to keep my eye on what matters. How and why was not Doctor, he's not a doctor.
I hope not.
Was Drew Misham killed? Vera poured the coffee. That's not going to change. But if that coffee didn't kill him, I need to find what did and prove it. Blah, I ate a bunch of mints.
Objection!
What if the mints were poisoned? It wasn't the mints, you idiots. Well, is there something else he could have consumed? He could have consumed a picture frame.
Yeah.
Anyway,
He ate the Mona Lisa.
proof is possible. I gotta risk it.
Oh, excellent. Let's see your proof then.
Oh boy. This is why we saved. This is why we saved.
Please show your evidence. Evidence shows the victim wasn't poisoned by his coffee mug.
The fact that the poison was elsewhere. Take that! Oh!
Must I explain this over and over and over?
Well, listen, it wasn't the generic fail option, so...
Yeah.
We hold out. We hold out.
We don't need possibilities here, Air Forehead. We need proof.
I know that.
You should also know that every proof has its moment. Perhaps you're a bit early. Okay,
Really?
game. Alright, game.
Okay, we get it, Ace Attorney. We get it. Is this
I need to
specifically
rub
for...
it in, Ace Attorney.
Is this specifically for if you pull out the picture frame too early?
Maybe. I have no
Because
idea.
otherwise you just get the generic fail option, wouldn't you?
I guess so, yeah.
That's so funny.
I can tell you what we know at this point.
You fail.
To put nothing to his mouth with that coffee mug.
Bullshit, but whatever.
So I guess it's just like we don't have a way to explain why he put his mouth on the picture frame, maybe?
I'm telling you, there was a picture of his wife. Oh my god, we didn't get penalized for it. Thank fuck. Okay.
Oh my god! Okay.
Okay.
Maybe it's one of those weird Ace Attorney things where it's like you gotta do one before you do the other because it's like stupid or whatever.
Yeah. Let's try the picture frame on this one, and if that's not it, we'll, I don't know, fucking cycle around, I guess. A certain something in orange that has vanished from the crime scene. The body.
I mean, technically, yeah.
Yeah. But also we're getting the intense music on this, so you might be on the right
It's a good
track.
sign. By which you mean? Something other than our witness?
I mean, he has a quill, he has a ruler, he has a paint tube. The only thing, and a pen. I can trust the pen being his, I can trust the toothbrush being his, but... Of course.
Don't tell me. Vermission?
Believe me, any comic relief I may provide is entirely unintentional.
Then let's see what you got for us, Mr. Justice.
Well, this thing wasn't at the scene of the crime, so I can't show you. It was fucking nail polish.
Oh.
But I do have evidence that shows it could have been taken from the scene. I forgot to save before.
No, I think it is referring to the letter, because we don't have the letter, but we do have the mailbox.
True. It's empty. Yeah, it's gotta be this.
Plus, the nail polish just went with Vera, and we
Yeah.
can't present profiles, because that was, I think, just a thing from Justice for All.
Yeah. That profiles thing is such bullshit. Let's do it. Hell yeah.
Err.
This is the only link between that studio and the outside world.
Letterbox.
What did Mr. Brushel just tell us? When he entered the studio on the night of the murder, the victim had just finished writing a letter.
Yeah, I said that, and yeah, it was true.
Furthermore, he went on to tell us that he put the letter in a yellow envelope and put it in the letterbox.
Ah.
But that very same letterbox was empty. In other words, that night, the yellow envelope disappeared.
Ah, yes, intriguing. So an envelope has disappeared from the scene of the crime.
If you're gonna fucking say the mailman picked it up like a normal-ass mailman, I'm gonna tell you it was fucking 9 o'clock at night.
Hehe.
And we got there at supposedly, like, 10 in the morning. Maybe 10:30. I don't know about you, but my mail doesn't come around until, like, 1 p.m., maybe 2 p.m.
Yeah. It sometimes it isn't even till like 3.
Yeah.
Of course, this changes nothing.
Huh?
As a point, Mr. Justice. What we're trying to figure out here is how the poison got into Mr. Misham.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really... who fucking knows, man?
Well, if it did disappear, then something did leave the studio that night. That seems very important to me.
Very well then, the witness will add this to his testimony.
You're fucking kidding. All this just to get him to add something to his testimony?
Ah, you got it. I still think the sales to change anything, forehead.
He's just so fucking pretty. My god.
I know, I was just thinking that.
I wouldn't be so sure. A letter disappeared from the crime scene that night. A letter he wrote that night. This is exactly the
Close to the
opening
letter he had 7 years ago.
I've been looking for it.
Hold it!
Nothing could be more serious than an envelope disappearing from that studio. And you were hiding that fact from us.
Yes. Well, actually... Don't argue the possibilities that the letter disappeared from that studio. Forehead, isn't there a much more serious question before us?
Right. How Mr. Misham was poisoned. I know. But Mr. Bushel's testimony has changed, which means the facts of the case have too. And what he's told us means something entirely different now. I'm starting to think.
Let's keep thinking, Apollo.
I'm trying so hard. I promise you I am. Alright.
Hold it!
Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Whatever. We'll go through the dialogue again. You're sure about that? Well, technically,
Yeah.
I was eating a fuck ton of mints. The mints could have been poisoned. No.
They weren't poisoned, I swear.
It was a long shot anyway.
Trying to prove something? You trying to prove something?
Mr. Misham ingested that poison via a route
Prove it?
other than the coffee. Proof is possible. Here goes nothing. He's just cutting us off now. We don't even get to present anything for it.
You don't understand what we need, ja? I pronounce the J in ya. What's wrong with me? Proof, forehead, not possibilities.
God, this man is really just like fucking staring at our souls through the screen. Of course, and Prosecutor Gavin, I hope you understand. I have no idea what I'm fucking doing. I'm ready to give you that proof.
What did you say?
We're getting the intense music. I think it was just an order thing. I have proof of the disappearing envelope.
Okay.
Oh, it was an order thing.
That's so dumb. I saw him writing a letter, I did. Which was picked up by the mailman, I presume.
No. Fuck. Of course, which means that envelope had a stamp on it.
Stamp. Oh.
Oh, the stamp.
Stamp.
Oh.
Stamp.
Oh.
I forgot that's
Yeah.
how some stamps work. I'm so used to just like the regular sticker stamps. I forgot that that's how some stamps work, and this is an old game.
Yeah.
Which means that a 2-inch picture frame would be the perfect size for a stamp. It's all coming together. So he wasn't making out with a picture of his wife.
I wish he was. That would have been cute.
Yeah. As we all know, stamps come with dried glue on the back. In order to use the glue, you have to wet it by licking the stamp.
Objection!
No one was talking. Wait, no one was talking to actually lick stamps in this day and age.
See, that's
That's
what I
weird.
was saying. But also,
I know.
But also, you think this guy was worth talking to? I mean, look at him. Look at this very dead man.
Good point.
Also, he very much hated modern things, apparently.
Yeah, that's true. Loved his antique stamps.
Even if you wanted to talk to him, you couldn't. Oh, also not to mention that he was instructed to use a specific stamp. That's why he held on to it. He's dead, after all.
Objection!
Okay, so he licks the stamp, but wait.
Oh my god, I just realized. This is like Papers, Please. You know how, like, the fucking cult or whatever approaches you and is like, hey, we need you to apply this poisonous substance onto
Yeah.
a certain person's passport and make sure not to, like, touch it yourself because you'll fucking die? That's what this was. Kind of.
Kinda, yeah.
The reason they asked him to use that specific stamp is because it was poisoned.
How does that explain the atrochinine on the rim of the coffee mug?
Because there was leftover residue on his fucking lips. Dear
You have to
prosecutor,
explain it to me.
Objection!
if he licked the back of a poison stamp, the poison would get on his tongue, yes? What would then happen if he put the coffee mug to his mouth,
My instinct was to, as Clavier, go, what would happen if I put yo to my mouth? Like, fucking just so, like, whoa, too far, man.
Those traces on the mug weren't the killer's doing. It was the other way around. Like I've been saying since the beginning.
What?
The coffee mug didn't poison Mr. Misham. Mr. Misham poisoned the coffee mug himself. Well, he didn't kill the coffee mug, now did he?
Order, order, order. But that doesn't... Does it?
It does. Recall, if you would. Atrochinine is a slow-acting poison, yes? The poison entered his body when he put the stamp on that envelope. But his time wasn't up until the very moment he touched the lips of that cup of joe.
You have something to add, Mr. Brushel.
It better be that the timeline works out perfectly and that I'm super right.
I forgot it was him, and I expected him to talk for a second. As I believe I mentioned earlier. Remember this? Well, that's the thing, see? After he put his letter in the envelope, Mr. Misham sat there searching his desk drawer for something.
It was probably the stamp. And then he realized, oh, I left it in the frame. A durr.
Yes, a stamp. A so-called postage stamp, end quote.
I completely forgot Brushel said that. Good God, that would have saved us a few minutes.
Yeah. You know, I don't seem to remember him ever finding one. Maybe he just ran out.
It's because he kept it in the picture frame, which I can now present. Because why would he leave it loose like that?
Incidentally, if you search the desk drawer at the scene of the crime...
If he was able to send it out with the stamp, of course it wouldn't fucking be there.
There were no stamps. Not a single one.
But I know where a stamp was.
That does pose a problem. Will you prove that the stamp was coated with poison?
Actually, I'm glad no other stamps were found. It makes proving the stamp he used was poison possible.
Ha 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 ha. Good show, good show. You can't even prove there was a stamp at the scene in the first place. Well, let's hear what the defense has to say anyway.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Just
in case.
Can never save too often.
Yeah. That's what they always say. Where's your evidence that proves the existence of this poison stamp?
Now it's time for this.
Flame.
Take that!
Well, that certainly is a cute little frame. And by little, I mean really little.
Quite little indeed. Something that could
So-
only fit something small, like, say, a stamp.
Super tiny.
It was on the victim's desk, Your Honor. Quite empty, as you can see for yourself.
I noticed that too during my inspection. So what?
Clearly, you didn't notice the poison left behind.
The what?
Apparently you weren't as observant as you should have been. You see, when you saw this frame, it was missing something quite important.
Missing something.
Yes, a pale bluish stain on the inside of the frame. Atrakinine residue.
What? Why wasn't I told about this?
Because a certain forensic scientist doesn't like you that much.
Someone keeps calling you a glimmerous fop and doesn't want to work with you ever.
The frame is only 2 inches square. The face of the frame is even smaller. Maybe an inch wide at most.
Go on saying,
Oh, but I am. Tell me, what fits in such a small frame? A commemorative stamp, perhaps?
order. Poison stamp was in this frame? Possible.
See, that's just one of the many things about Xavier, is that, like, we are totally showing him up right now, totally fucking catching him off his guard, and he still has that fucking, like, pretty confident look on his face.
Yeah, he's still got that pretty boy smirk on his face.
Yeah. Like, we've got him on the ropes, and he is not shaken.
Yeah.
I fucking love him, he's great.
Prosecutor Gavin, you look so nice with that cute little smirk on your face. Why would he put something like that on his desk? Don't tell me he had it there so he could commit suicide if the mood struck.
That would be interesting, but no.
You know, can I say something? I had a thought, see? What, Mr. Brushel? And please stop jittering around like that, you're freaking me out.
Please.
The victim was a forger, right? There's a lot of money in that line of work. Forger forges friends, makes enemies too, end quote.
the poison stamp might have been a murder weapon aimed at him.
Objection!
Oh, rich. That's rich.
Don't worry, sweetheart, I have proof.
Nuh-uh. Leave the ridiculous flights of fancy to the Gavineer's song lyrics, please. Ignore the fact that we broke up. I'm still mourning it. In stage 1, denial.
Finally, something we can agree on.
Stamp was a murder weapon? Nonsense.
I've seen weirder.
Murder is a simple business. Who would go to such lengths? No one.
Who would go to such lengths to do such a ridiculous murder?
Gavin, we have so many Ace Attorney characters we need to introduce you to.
Not to mention, 3 months ago. Oh, I disagree.
Again.
Recall, if you would, the victim's reclusive lifestyle. Drew Misham hid from the world. He avoided meetings. His only contact with the outside world was the mail.
The mail!
Now, if you wanted to kill someone you couldn't meet, but you knew red letters, a stamp would be the perfect weapon.
Ridiculous. Where's your proof? I want proof.
Right here, baby girl.
Show us evidence that this poison stamp was sent to him as a murder weapon.
I might not have evidence, per se. Yes, you do. But things are finally starting to come together.
What is it, Apollo?
Javier, he's just so hot.
Oh, I getcha. Your fists are trembling.
I think I know what happened. I don't believe it, but I can see it. I think I know how Mr. Misham was killed.
Well, fill us in, Mr. Justice.
A certain piece of evidence points to the truth, Your Honor. I can show you how someone with the intent to kill... Oh, fuck, I was supposed to say it before we got to that point. Whatever. It's pretty obvious.
Okay,
Just to triple check, this is what we want.
Yeah.
Use the stamp enclosed. Epic. Take that!
Isn't this the envelope? The one from 7 years ago?
Yes, it is. What about the text of the letter again? There were 2 pages in the envelope. This is page 1. And this is page 2. I want to draw your attention to one phrase in particular. Send in the enclosed envelope with the enclosed stamp within 3 days. I mean, he obviously didn't. It took him fucking 7 years.
No.
But... The enclosed stamp, Your Honor.
Ah. In other words, if I have this straight. The stamp, poison on the stamp, lick, lick, gasp, end quote. Disgusting.
Now, what if he had done exactly as the letter asked?
Would sign the document, put it in the envelope, and put the stamp on it, right? Then he would put it in his letterbox.
15 minutes wouldn't have elapsed between affixing the stamp and mailing the letter. But the clock started ticking when the time came. And when the time came, he drew his last breath. And the murder weapon would be taken away from the scene.
Quite conveniently, thanks to the postal system.
Whoever did this was clever, and perhaps involved in a case 7 years ago. Wonder who that could be.
7 years ago. Such a splendid imagination you have, Air Forehead.
Do you have some kind of rebuttal, dear prosecutor?
I just like being mean. Let me confirm one thing with you, if I might. So this poison stamp was inside this envelope from 7 years ago, yeah? Is that what you'd have us believe? Really?
Is he gonna mention the, 3-day ask? As if to say, the poison would expire in 3 days? Because That's bullshit, I think.
Probably, yeah.
Well,
It's a little bit of a stretch, but there's a possibility.
Yes, a very small possibility. How small, I wonder?
not 0, and that's all we need.
Poison stomp in this envelope? A stomp that then became the murder weapon? How do you intend to prove this seeming coincidence?
And again, this is the beauty of Clavier, because when he's asking questions, he's like asking for genuine clarification to make sure we cover our bases, not because he's trying to get all like up in your face.
My man prioritizes the truth, and that's why we love him.
For real.
Well,
It was 7 years ago, and we don't even know who sent that letter. Yeah, there's no return address, which means
If only
this
there was
person is
some way to
crafty.
find out who sent this letter 7 years ago. There was some way to see 7 years ago. And your answer is silence, I see. Very well. I move to... Who the f... Who's saying this?
Okay, there are two options.
I think there are also two options.
Yeah, it's either Francisca just for the sake of Francisca, or it's fucking Kristoff because
My
he's
assumption
relevant.
is it would be Kristoff or Phoenix.
Phoenix isn't safe for all line.
Yeah, but he might be making fun of Clavier.
Well, only one way to find out.
Ah!
Kristoff.
It's not me. It's not
And
nice to make
Emma?
fun of Caroline. Just kidding. It's Emma. Why did we think it was Kristoff? Oh. Okay. All right, Emma.
Oh, okay.
I love you.
I mean, they literally showed Kristoff.
I'll be honest. I don't even remember my Kristoff voice. I know I had one. I don't know what happened to it. Well, like my Kristoff Gavin impression? Did I sound like him?
A little too much.
I'm so scared, Emma.
You almost had us collectively spiraling.
I was ready to clutch my pearls in shock.
For real. Don't quit your day job.
Don't you have a crime scene to be looking after, Fraulein Detective? I'm ready to kick your ass over this. You impersonated my brother. I got scared. Someone had to come dig you out of all the mess you're making of this case.
Mess.
You know, none of this would happen if you just trusted in science a little more.
The fuck science bullshit. Sorry, I'm still shaken from it was almost Kristoff.
Kristoff jump scare.
Stop jump scare real. He's already in jail. He's been in jail. Okay.
I like that even both of us acknowledged that it could be Kristoff, and then he showed up and we were both still scared.
Yeah. I mean, because the implications, you know? We're talking about Kristoff Gavin here. He's not a good person.
God.
Recenter. Okay.
You can find out if that stamp was in the envelope. Easy. Care to explain yourself, Fraulein Detective? Hurt me all you want, but science is on my side. Selling the residue, right?
That's right. The poison detection spray.
Use the red envelope at once.
Are we allowed to open it now?
You can open it on the authority of the court.
Fuck yeah.
Yay, springtime!
Alright. Where do you think it would be? Perhaps up here? No. This corner maybe? Yeah.
Oh. Little square. Well, would you look at that? No mistaking it. That's atropine residue. I don't believe it. Murder weapon from the past. Now, 7 years later, it bears its fangs at last. Bars!
Objection!
Absolutely outrageous. Tell me why. Ain't nothing but a heartbreak. Tell me why. Ain't nothing but a mistake. Why didn't this murder take place 7 years ago?
Good question. Well,
There's one possibility. Maybe Mr. Misham figured it out. Get out what? You realize that the person who sent that letter wanted him dead.
that would make sense. Which is why he bothered to do it, not 15, 7 years later. Because he was blackmailed into this interview. And so he's like, well, I've been caught. Because either he's gonna, like, release the blackmail, or we're gonna do this interview and that's gonna expose me either way. So, let's just keep going.
So he sent his reply with a different stamp.
But then he bothered to send another letter anyways. 7 years later.
And put his decisive evidence in a frame.
Smart. But also... How the fuck did he know where to send it? Because the red envelope did not get a return address. Maybe he just has this on file somewhere? But like, where are those files?
Oh, this guy. Ah, you're still here? Can I make a statement here on the record?
All of these are on the record. Go ahead.
I, Spark Razortooth Brushel, claim this scoop is mine.
Fuck off.
I think you're allowed to do that. Drew Misham killed in cold blood. By sender of 7-year-old letter, end quote. Sender is an orange because it's important. No, maybe something more succinct. Star falls after 7-year delay, end quote. Order, order, order.
Also, I thought the jury was supposed to be not physically present this time around. They still have the fucking shattering.
The proceedings.
Whatever.
I see no room for further argument here. Though I admit this is all coming as quite a shock. To think the murder weapon reached his mouth after 7 years.
I wouldn't have done so if it wasn't for her.
Stamp his ticket straight to afterlife, end quote.
Oh no, he's got you too.
Oh, I think the witness is a bad influence on our judge.
Seconded.
I see no need for further debate on this matter. The sender of that letter 7 years ago could hardly have been our defendant. It would have been like a child.
Polo! I think we just won.
I said that. I think we just won.
Very well, the court finds the defendant.
Objection!
God damn it.
Just kidding.
Javier, I love you, babe, but let me have this.
No. Sorry, 9. Is this the bright future of our legal system?
Where we just let people go without finding the actual guilty party?
Yeah. Prosecutor Gavin? Tickets to the afterlife from 7 years ago. Tickets for Gavineer's shows are invalid after 2
Are
weeks.
you seriously trying to say the poison expired?
Good, I don't know, fucking know. But it doesn't make sense any other way. It boggles my mind that so many people haven't noticed this.
I mean, some poisons do expire, and I can't remember what it means when they expire. Like, do they get more dangerous? Less dangerous? No longer being
Yeah.
fair? I can't remember what the answer to that was. It might depend on the poison, but still.
I know, medicine and poisons are not the same, but I know when medicine expires, it doesn't become, like, a problem so much, it just becomes less potent, so maybe it's like that, where,
Maybe.
like, you have to take a lot more poison in order to die or something? I have no idea. There's a fatal contradiction in Air Forehead's claim.
Contradiction?
Poison stamp was placed in this envelope 7 years ago. Whereupon it was framed until now. If that's the case, then why would Drew Misham have done what he did?
Because he was blackmailed into an interview. I just said this. Emma, explain that. He must have realized it was poison.
Therein lies the rub.
Oh, Apollo hasn't caught up with me. Damn.
7 years ago, the forger Drew Misham sends the trap and puts the stamp in a frame. I do not debate this, but this begs the question. Why, 7 years later, did he use the stamp on the night of the murder? Surely you don't mean to suggest that Mr. Misham simply forgot.
Of course not. Just give me a chance.
He puts a murder weapon in a frame on his desk for 7 years and forgot?
No.
You expect us to believe he springs a trap on himself?
Ooh, he's getting intense. Yes, I do.
Ah.
Come on, Apollo. Come on.
Come on, Apollo, you got this, bud.
I'll admit this is all quite shocking myself. It would seem highly unlikely that he would fall afoul of a trap. It had been sitting on his desk for 7 years.
Just let me get to my point. Please.
Apollo?
I don't think we're winning anymore. Apollo, have some faith in me.
Hello, buddy. Be confident. I'm glad to see we're all back in the real world now.
But it's always a dream with you.
Welcome back to reality. We've been waiting for you.
You've been waiting for me?
I always wait for you.
Okay, then how do you explain the poison stamp that was in this envelope?
The poison stamp?
Are you gonna cast out on that too?
Where exactly is this poison stamp again? Have you brought it to court for us? I see no proofs that such a thing ever existed.
Then why is that poison residue there, dear prosecutor?
Objection!
I don't know.
What about the atroquinine residue, huh?
Oh, I agree. That does seem to be extra canine residue. But Air Forehead, it's certainly no stamp.
Stamp this, bitch. Yeah, but
Even if your precious poison stamp did exist, Drew Misham never would have used it.
And why not?
That is all.
you bitch. Prosecution can just throw out however many baseless claims they want. We have to fucking back all our shit up.
Yeah. I believe we've come to a conclusion again.
Have we?
Apollo, were we wrong the whole time?
No. I can't believe it. The poison traces match up. It can't be a coincidence. We could try and retrieve that letter.
I'd like to bring some closure to this issue sometime this year.
Trust me, Judge. I got this.
Mr. Justice,
Yes, Your Honor?
let's review the facts and see where we stand.
Of course.
7 years ago, Drew Misham received a red envelope. There were traces of the poison atroquinine on the document inside that envelope. A similar trace was also found at the crime scene, on this tiny little picture frame. Defense has indicated the possibility of a yellow envelope. An envelope that left the scene of the crime with the poison stamp on it. Yes, but even if this envelope contained a poison stamp, and Drew Misham, knowing this, put it in a frame, he never would have used that stamp. I'm afraid you're right. Which means there's a fatal flaw in the defense's case.
I haven't been on the wrong track this whole time, I'm sure of it. The traces of Actor Canine, the envelope, the frame, and Drew Misham's mysterious death. They're all connected somehow.
Well, Mr. Justice, do you have a conclusion for us?
Yes. The defense stands by its case, Your Honor. We've seen that the logical outcome of the evidence makes no sense. What? Which means that one of our clues must be a fake.
Ah, a fake clue. Fascinating. And if he finds this fake, your wild fantasies will prove quite reasonable, yeah?
A fake clue that's fuck. One second. So, I'm tempted to say the frame, but sometimes it is just like the outlandish option.
Yeah.
And my whole argument
That's generally my rule of thumb is like if it gives you a choice like this and one of them is like really weird, my instinct is always like, oh, it's gotta be that one.
Yeah. I'm gonna try the frame first. We saved, so we can go back if we.
Yeah.
Lock
I don't
it
know
in.
if this will penalize. This frame is the fake clue?
Without a doubt, Your Honor.
Objection!
Wasn't it you who presented this evidence to the court?
Yeah, and? Oh.
Hold on a second, Apollo. Isn't on the envelope, that frame, and the coffee mug. They're all connected somehow.
Oh, right. Sigh. I can hear it already. It looks like the fake was you, Air Forehead. Didn't happen.
The victim was a fake clue? I'm afraid I don't understand.
Well, let Apollo explain, because I don't know what the fuck we're dealing with. Thank you, Apollo.
Thanks, Apollo.
We have an envelope, a frame, and a mug linked by poison. That all makes sense. What doesn't make sense is the victim himself.
Objection!
Congratulations. You've completely lost me.
Allow me to catch you up, dear prosecutor.
So the fake evidence is none other than the master of fake shit himself, the forger. It makes a good story, I'll give you that.
But where's your proof?
The
The fake clue. Fakes. Forgeries. Oh!
I know that face. That's the I just had an idea face.
I don't know if I'm right, but I'm going with it anyway. What if our forger is the fake?
Come again?
7 years ago, our forger sniffed a trap and stepped aside. 7 years pass. Now the forger stumbles into that very same trap and dies. Why?
That's what I want to know.
Because the forger who was killed was a fake.
Here we are again. The victim was a fake.
Let me cook, let me cook. I have no idea what's going on.
Put that boy in the kitchen!
One forger smelled the trap. One forger fell into the trap. That's 2 forgers, and one of them was a fake.
Order, order, order.
This is some Phoenix Wright level bluffing right here. I am lost.
So you are telling us that Drew Misham, the victim, was a fake? Well, if he was the fake, who was the real forger?
Are we trying to say that Drew Misham faked his own death?
You'd better not be claiming there was some kind of switcheroo.
I have no idea what I'm claiming.
I know what you're claiming. I'm afraid you're gonna have to back up your story.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Justice, show us just who the real Drew Misham was.
If Drew Misham wasn't the real forger, there's only one other person it could have been. Understood, Your Honor. Forger Drew Misham was himself a forgery. The real forger was... I have no idea what's going on. So, possibilities.
Yeah.
Vera Misham, because she's like the only one with a link to the studio.
Mm-hmm.
Valiant Grand Marine, because tricks are his thing.
Fair.
Or Spark Brushel, because he's here. I'm gonna go with Mission Junior. I did save, right? I think so. Whatever, locking it in. Music didn't stop, that scares me. I did save though. There can only be one explanation, really. The real identity of the forger, known as Drew Misham, is none other than his only daughter, Vera Misham.
Order.
They're letting me go forward with this, so...
Yeah. Mr. Justice, this is going out on a limb even for you.
Trust me, I know.
I kinda agree. I mean, Vera, a forger?
Let's consider it before you write it off entirely. If you look at the paintings in the studio, one fact becomes quite clear. Forgery had been taking place in that studio for quite some time. The forger wasn't caught in that trap 7 years ago. This can only mean that the one who was caught in the trap wasn't the forger.
Well, actually that does make a certain kind of sense.
One more thing. Only 2 sets of fingerprints were found in the forger's studio. Drew Misham's and Vera Misham's. If we know that Drew Misham wasn't the forger, that leaves only one possibility by process of elimination. The forger was Vera Misham. Well,
Fascinating.
I threw around a lot of, like, actual points there, rather than it just defaulting to, like, no, it's this, I swear, whatever bullshit, like, grasping at straws thing he would say.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're on the right track. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
We wouldn't get this far without being... Yep,
Yeah, we're good. Vera Misham. You have been paying attention to the trial so far? Let's just ask her and be done with it, shall we? Who are you? Who is the forger, Drew Misham?
Was that an expression of emotion I saw on her face? She's staring holes into Prosecutor Gavin's face. Bars.
I'm used to being stared at by Frauleins, believe me. So they usually talk to me too. Tell us, were you the one who forged those works of art?
Yes.
So the forger Drew Misham was you?
Yes, it was me.
What? What?
The court was in an uproar, and it wasn't coming down. We had to break for a 10-minute recess.
I went on the monkey bars.
Yeah. Yes, save my progress. October 8th, 1:24 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 6.
Okay. So where exactly does this leave us, Apollo?
Well, the Drew Misham who was killed wasn't Drew Misham the forger, basically.
Huh? Well then, who was he?
Just Vera's father, really.
Yeah.
Well, he was actually doing her nails. So you really made those forgeries?
Yes, for father. I know it was wrong.
Could you tell us how it happened?
My father was a painter. I loved painting ever since I was a child. One day, father saw it in me. He saw that I had the talent.
The talent for making forgeries?
How should I say it? It was not only paintings I made. Given the materials, I could make anything.
Anything?
Father was so proud, and I so happy. But in the end, I was making those.
Forgeries.
I've never had a good constitution, nor personality. I know very little of the world outside my door. Now, because of me, father is...
Do you know about this red envelope?
I remember that envelope. It was some time ago.
So you were already you were already creating your works back then?
I started when I was only 12 years old.
That would be 7 years ago.
Yeah.
So the one who figured out the stamp was poisoned, that was... Mr. Justice, it's time. To the courtroom, please. Right. Out of time.
Wait, Vera, just one more thing, please. Those 3 paintings in the studio.
What the fuck is up with them?
I painted those as part of my work.
Okay, why though? Right, see, we checked them out and we saw what was underneath. We saw those rough sketches underneath the 3 finished paintings.
I see. Mr. Justice,
Yes?
father, he knew of you. Of both of you.
Well, duh, because Trucy's like super relevant. You're late, father?
He was watching, gathering information. All about the right and call law offices.
But lately we're not just doing law.
Yes, we do tricks, gags to amuse, and play piano.
Well, they're not really gags.
Yet when father heard I had resumed the legal business, how pleased he was.
Who was Mr. Misham?
How am I supposed to know?
What if he was Daddy's daddy?
Not old enough for that.
Yeah.
Judging from the relative ages involved, I'd say it's highly unlikely. Things are already getting confusing enough with these daddies running around. I could make a joke. I could. We know that the victim's daughter, Vera, was the forger. What does this mean for the case? Guess we're about to find out.
I love her little striped socks. It's so cute.
For real.
Gord is now back in.
Vera seems pretty tense. She's not quite sure her fingernails clean off. And that's the other thing. She keeps whipping out this nail polish, but like there's no color on her nails.
Might be clear.
That's the thing. Yeah, that's probably it. It's either A, the clear nail polish, or B, that, like, residue you put on your nails to stop yourself from biting them.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the two possibilities. I haven't seen.
Perhaps you could begin by telling us how it all worked. How did you set up this Drew Misham forger persona?
I was a minor and we couldn't address things to me, so we addressed them to Daddy instead.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know why I asked that.
There's that stare again. She's drilling more holes into his head.
I know it's hard for you, but hey, he's a handsome guy.
What's hard? My dick?
I know it's hard to see someone else looking at your mans, but come on, he's handsome.
Very well, miss, if you would. Did you really make those detestable forgeries? Perhaps you'd rather answer my question?
Don't, like, throw too much on her. She is very socially inept.
The user one who painted that painting is a remarkably similar one.
Yes. I painted it, yes. Father praised me quite highly for it.
So, she was the one who made the forgeries. Yet she did not wish to reveal the truth of their operation. So the victim was a stand-in, a decoy. To the world at large, he was the forger, not her.
I've done a bad thing. Haven't I?
Regardless, we need a little more information. About, for instance, this. You have seen this before, yeah?
Yes. It was in the desk drawer.
Very well, you may proceed with your testimony. Tell us everything you know about this envelope.
I created things and Father sold them. This envelope came after my first work. That was other than a painting. Father handed the deal, all of it. I received the stamp that was on that envelope. It was after that job that we moved to the current studio.
There was certainly much of great interest in your testimony. Not that the witness realizes it. Very well, please begin the cross-examination.
Right, okay. I need more information about this forger. This Drew Misham.
Hold it!
So these things you were making, you mean paintings identical to other paintings, right?
The closer they were, the happier Father was. I was happy too.
Still, you're quite young now. When did you begin this work?
My first painting sold when I was 12.
Your Honor, she had no idea what she was doing was illegal.
Objection!
Easy there, little attorney.
Whatever you say, Clavier.
You're not here to defend her for the crime of forgery.
Very good point, Clavier.
True. Please, tell us more about this envelope. This envelope that may very well have killed your father.
Alright.
Hold it!
By other than a painting, you mean you'd only done paintings up to that point?
Yes. But Father had a realization. He noticed my talent extended to making things other than paintings.
For instance?
instance, a letter someone had written, or a fingerprint left upon a cup, or a signature on a document, a seal upon a a seal upon a letter.
None of this makes her sound very innocent at all.
And the $100 promised in this letter was the start. The beginning of a new industry for Drew Misham. A new industry? The creation of items to be used in criminal proceedings. Forging evidence, in other words.
Uh-oh. So you didn't know how the things you were making were being used?
I enjoy painting very much.
I think I understand. The Fraulein has lived in an unusual little world.
Can you tell us what happened to the papers that were in this envelope?
Father signed them and sent them back, I believe.
Did he follow the instructions? Send in the enclosed envelope with the closed stamp?
This is a rather important matter. Give your answer some thought.
What do you mean you received it?
Did I do something wrong?
You didn't use that stamp because it was dangerous, correct? Deadly poison on the back. Atro... Kenai.
Objection!
Yeah. A moment, Air Forehead. You can't force an answer upon the witness.
Miles Edgeworth does it a lot.
I was gonna say you do it.
Well,
You
Miles Edgeworth isn't here right now, so fuck him.
don't.
Now then, perhaps you would tell me, Fraulein Vera?
He's using his charm.
Yeah. Why did you receive the stamp? Is something wrong?
It was beautiful.
Ah, you mean it was one of those commemorative stamps?
Yes, I think it was.
So you didn't know about the poison? I guess not.
So the trap failed by chance, by mistake. Thanks to this commemorative stamp. Quite the close call.
Hold it!
You mean you moved to where the current Drew studio is?
Yes, I saw very few people there. I began drawing picture books.
This single job had tied them to the criminal underworld. I'd think Mr. Misham wished to reduce their visibility in the world at large.
When we had to meet someone for some reason, Father posted the creator of the work.
So that was the real essence of the artist Drew Misham. You did the work and he supplied the face.
So, you really didn't know anything, did you?
Was the blackmail from Brushel perhaps that he knew that the daughter was the actual talent?
Perhaps. I don't remember what the blackmail was. You had no idea how much danger you were in.
It's either that or just like we know you were involved in this like very controversial case from 7 years ago.
Oh, it could be that.
One of those.
Especially because Brushel was like, I didn't have to do that much, I just had to suggest something.
Yeah.
Apparently not.
About this commemorative stamp. Could you tell us more about it? She drew it pretty decently. I mean, she could go into more detail, but, like, I assume that the stamp she's drawing is what it looked like.
Probably.
Especially since she loved it enough to frame it.
It was very pretty. And more than that,
Yes?
it was a picture of people I liked at the time.
Gasp. This is something new.
Apparently, we've got some cross-examination yet ahead of us. If you would be so kind as to continue your testimony, Fraulein.
Look at him with his beautiful blue eyes.
I literally was just about to say.
The stamp was a picture of my favorite magicians, so I kept it.
Your favorite magicians, you say?
Oh!
Magicians?
I love mysterious things. I always have.
Even though she fainted when she saw Mr. Hat.
You're confusing mysterious with freaky.
Father took me when I was very young. It was a great magic show. I loved it so much.
See? Isn't magic great?
Fine, great, yeah, sure. No need to get all excited.
But the magic troupe we saw disbanded soon after. I was quite sad.
Is this perhaps 7 years ago?
Did she just say what I think she said? Magic troupe? Where have I heard that before? The red envelope came after she'd completed her first job. That makes it a letter from her client, whoever wanted a forgery made.
Apollo!
We're close. We just have to piece together the parts. A deadly weapon and a red envelope, and the path it took to take Drew Misham's life. Okay. So, we have the dialogue, we pressed all the things, we've added all the things that need to be added.
Yeah.
So now we gotta press things, or not press, present things places. Can't present profiles or anything.
No.
Hey, wanna go see him sometime? I mean, it's just the one guy, but still.
Yeah. We've got some magicians. Put Trucy up there and it's basically a troupe.
Yeah. Maybe they can convince me up there. We'll see.
Apollo gets to be the beautiful woman they cut in half.
Yeah, and it's probably gonna be wrong, but we saved, so it's fine.
Objection!
Oh, music stopped.
It's the ticket.
Fuck yeah! Those magicians you liked. Was it this bunch?
Apollo, they're not a bunch.
Yeah, it's only one guy.
I see. Still, I have to wonder. Why include a commemorative stamp like that in a business letter?
Might have been, perhaps, related. Good question.
Well, pretty stamps are always better, and you can't beat Troop Grammary.
But the whole murder plan was a failure because of it? Ironic, don't you think? Prosecutor Gavin.
I mean, hey, listen, if there were a Gavinier stamp going around, like...
Yeah. Oh. Gavin?
knows? What?
Gavin, are you, what's happening to you, buddy?
You good, Clavier?
You okay, man?
You good?
You a big Troop Grammary stan, or like, what's happening?
Something you wanna perhaps fill us in on?
Want to share with the class, Gavin? Prosecutor Gavin? Grammary.
What's with Gavin?
Might I ask just one question of this witness?
Forgery for this instant.
What was it?
Vera, what did you happen to do?
In your testimony just now, you stated this was your first work that was other than a painting.
What was it?
Please tell me. What exactly did you make?
Can I ask why?
Nope. Answer the question now. Prosecutor Gavin. You're usually not the one whose volume concerns me. Yes, it is unbecoming of me. I apologize.
But, Air Judge, do you not understand how important this is?
Dear Judge, this is super fucking important. Please, Miss Bishop, tell me.
It was a book. A single page in a book.
Book? Please be more specific.
It was a handwritten book. Like a diary.
No, I don't know. Oh, Clavier.
Poor Clavier, he's the only one who knows what's going on.
Clavier's having a bad time right now.
What's wrong with Prosecutor Gavin? He looks like he just saw a ghost.
But, Miss Bishop, this book? Was there a picture of a silk cat on the back cover? Yes or no?
How did you know?
Objection!
Prosecutor Gavin! The defendant is answering all of your questions. What's going on with you?
He's told you nothing, has he?
Absolutely nothing.
Your soiled, sullied mentor. Nothing?
Sullied. Who?
Phoenix Wright. Who else?
Literally, who else?
Literally who else?
Daddy?
He never told you about the trial 7 years ago? About how he came to lose his attorney's badge?
Gasp.
It was a certain piece of evidence that decided his fate, you know. A certain diary. On the back, it bore the mark of a silk cat.
What? Phoenix Wright, tossed out of the profession by false evidence. And the forger who made that evidence. Is the girl standing right in front of me? Farah, you must tell us. The evidence you made was used in a trial 7 years ago. Who asked Drew Misham, you, to forge that evidence? For all of our sakes, who was it?
You!
We only met once.
You met the client? Well, who was it?
It was. It was.
That's why she's giving him the stare! Because she thinks he's the other one!
What's going on with Vera?
To be fair, if I had met someone and then several years later I met someone who looked exactly like him but with a German accent, I would be like, what the fuck?
Oh,
what
yeah.
the hell?
Definitely.
I would be freaking out. I would think I gone insane or something.
She's staring at Prosecutor Gavin's face again.
Yes, what? Is there something about me?
I remember clearly. I remember you gave me the book, the diary.
Who was it? Vera. Oh,
She's fucking dead.
The devil.
Thump. I think that was just one of her, like, passed out from getting too stressed things.
R.I.P. She's dead.
No, she's just unconscious. It says so.
She's dead. She's so dead.
What? What?
The dosive was just under the lethal amount, but because she's like, she has immunodeficiency, it was, oh no, it spared her life.
She's not actually dead. I just keep saying that.
You motherfucker.
I'm a trickster. It's what I do.
True. A very simple case at first glance, until it finally began to show its true colors. You know, all you had to do, girl, was fucking point at Gavin, and we could have put the rest together.
Yeah.
The long road to the truth takes us to the record of another trial. Oh my fucking god, it's been so long since I've seen Phoenix in a suit. I didn't realize how much I missed that.
Getting to this part of the game for the first time, it was like being wrapped in a warm blanket. It was like, oh my god, Phoenix.
Yeah. In some ways, that was the starting point of it all. Oh my fucking god!
He looks so fucking cool.
I
think that's
almost forgot that he has a canonical short hair design, and
Dude, his short hair design looks so fucking good.
It does, it so does.
He's so cool. I love him.
I do too. He needs to go back to the short hair for the sake of everyone.
Yeah.
Including himself.
I need him to fucking cut that goddamn rat tail off.
For real. Especially so that he can stop looking like his fucking brother.
Yeah, I need the ponytail braid, whatever it is, gone. I need the short hair back. It looks so good. Ah,
please.
Makes me want to throw up. I love him.
Please. If only Apollo could have seen him then.
For real, Apollo would have lost his fucking mind.
Absolutely.
Apollo would have been like fucking on the ground, shaking, convulsing over it.
For real. And honestly, same.
I know I am.
And that is where we must go.
Ah, Tiny Jersey!
Tiny Jersey! Oh my god, she's so cute! Oh, and the painting is back to the bridge rather than the fucking judge painting.
Oh, that's so cute, actually. I never noticed that.
Yeah, that's the, like, standard painting it was for the, first few games, so.
Yeah.
To find the whole truth. Tiny Jersey's so cute.
Baby Trucy's the cutest little child in the world. I love her.
Yes, save.
I'm feeling okay, personally.
Alright, we're gonna keep fucking going.
Yeah! It's part of the game rules, also, just by the way.
Showdown time. I lost. It's only a game of poker. A game I've played for a long time, and only lost twice. Who was the first? A man I killed, of course. Demon. Well, seems I've found the partner I've been looking for all along. Over a game of cards? Why yes, over a game of cards. That was how we first met. 7 years ago. 7 years
7 years earlier.
Phoenix Wright's final trial.
Yeah!
April 19th, 9:27 a.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 2. Okay, it's been a long time since I've felt like such a rookie. Gotta try and relax. Good morning, Mr. Enigma. I'm sorry to have sprung this on you so suddenly. I'm just gonna have to move the mic every time, because that's how I get his voice. I've received the files from your previous attorney only yesterday. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure I'm prepared. I understand I'm asking the impossible of you. Yes, well, you haven't really told me what happened yet. All we did was play cards. And that was enough. Actually, it wasn't. Trust me.
Ooh, where'd Daddy?
Aw, I'm so glad you came.
You okay, Daddy? They picking on you?
I'm fine, as always. This old boy here is here to help me. This guy's here to help. That's young man to you. Good morning. That's a cute outfit you have on.
Thanks. My first show's today, after all.
Her first show. Baby's first show.
Oh, I'm sure it is. What the heck is she talking about?
Ooh, old boy.
Huh? Me? Look what he started.
Here.
What's it say? It seems fate's clock will make me wait a little longer. At least only less than 10 swift minutes remain. To all those who have supported me in my life's work, I give thanks. Farewell. Magnifique Grammary. Interesting. What's this?
I don't know. I just got it over there in the hall.
That's so suspicious.
Trucy's been given evidence to people since day one. It's just fucking. She just gets handed stuff. She's like, okay, I don't know.
He told me to give it to the old boy in the blue suit with the spiky hair. He said it was really important.
What's this? A memo for you or some such? Not from the looks of it. What is this? Looks like a page from someone's diary. I'll give it a read later. Fuck you, I read it now.
Except for the fact that, yeah.
Oh!
Ooh.
Well, how do you feel about the trial today? I don't know what I'm getting into. Let's look at this.
Attorney's
Can I
badge.
present this to you? No, I can't.
Mhm.
For the love of God, I need to make sure I get every present. Anyway, let me look at this at least. So here is Magnifique Grammary. I assume.
He does have a hole in his forehead.
Yeah, got a lot of things going on. There's a golden gun, which I assume he was shot with.
Yeah.
There is a lot of needles. And there's the diary with the ripped out page. There's also a bullet hole in the clown.
Also, most importantly, he's got the most insane facial hair I have ever seen in my life.
True. Okay. What else we got? Autopsy report. Cause of death, single gunshot to the head. Estimated time of death, 11 to 11:30.
Slay.
Oh. This is what he was like in life. 67, huh?
He looks way worse in life than he did in death. I don't know how that's possible.
I don't know. Maybe it's because his like cheeks are super hollowed out, and from the angle that like death photos from, his facial hair was covering how fucking hollowed out his face is.
Yeah. Also, his mustache looks like it's coming from out of his nose.
It does look like that, and I do hate it.
Yeah.
See, the victim in this case died after being shot in the head while in the hospital.
The client in this case usually goes by his stage name, Zach Gramarye. But see, look, it's Shady!
Yeah.
Shady
Real
and
Slim Shady.
Alright. Alright. I meant to do this. Malignant tumor found in victim's liver. So that must have been what he was in the hospital for. Okay. And then this is our magic falsified evidence.
Yeah.
See, I was wondering whether or not you were gonna go into this case knowing that there was falsified evidence.
And you do.
Which is good. Because, like, there were three possibilities. There was one, going into it and getting to know which piece is the falsified one. B, going into it knowing something was falsified but not knowing which one. Or C, going into it completely blind.
Yeah. I really like how this case is set up. I think it's done in a very, like... It's simultaneously, I think, like, very easy to forget what you know in the present time, and also, like, the whole time you're kind of dreading what you know in the present time.
Oh yeah, that is absolutely a thing, especially when you jump back and forth between present and past, and like also just like getting the meta knowledge moments, not just like from existing in the fandom, like is going on with me, but like in the earlier games they would always show you who killed it, so who was the killer, so you'd already know who to target. And so then it's like, so they slip up and you're like, yeah, it makes sense that they would know that since they're the killer. And you forget that they're not supposed to know that. Happens a lot. It is so fun to do and so aggravating to miss.
Yeah.
And so easy to miss too. Yeah, so this is gonna be interesting. Anyway. Well, how do you feel about the trial today? We'll get through it, somehow. Incidentally, the prosecutor today is a new guy, I hear. Ah, an easy win then, yes? They're calling him a true thoroughbred in the history of the prosecutor's office. Of course, there's one of those every year. The switching of attorneys just before the trial. I know it is a difficult situation I put you in, but allow me to say one thing, Mr. Wright. Yes? They will not be able to pronounce me guilty today. So, do your best, but do not worry. First time a defendant's ever given me a pep speech. I'll do what I can. I see you do not understand. You see, it will be impossible for them to declare a verdict. Impossible? Yes, isn't that right, Trucy?
Yep, you bet, Daddy.
My first look at the case was only yesterday. And the information I was given was a tad bit lacking, to be honest. Still, I'll do what I can, for their sake. I believe the curtains will be lifting any time now. I am in your capable hands, Mr. Wright. Bitch. My client is Shady Enigmar, known to the world as Zach Gramarye, a wildly popular magician, star of Troupe Gramarye. His mentor, Magnifique Gramarye, was a rare breed of magician. He single-handedly ushered in a golden age of stage magic until he was shot dead, and Zach Gramarye is the suspect.
April 19th. 10 a.m. District Courtroom number 7.
Number 7?
There's so many fucking courtrooms. What the hell? Oh my god. Court is now in session for the trial of Shady Enigmar. Look at this old judge setup. I missed it.
Yeah, it's so, like, surreal.
Fucking yellow background.
Oh my god, yeah, that's the first thing I noticed. Like, it's slapping you in the face.
Yeah.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
Is the prosecution ready?
Ready to rock and roll, Your Honor.
Yeah. I was just thinking, is this what all the fuss is about? Bit of a buzzkill, really. Buzzkill? Is this some new kind of crime?
Ha.
One of the worst. This is a trial, yeah? Where are the sweaty palms? The pounding hearts?
Just wait until you meet Apollo. My god.
Gavinier's concert's got 10 times the thrill this gig's got.
Well, no shit.
Yeah.
The sunglasses? They're just like...
Sunglasses.
They feel slightly out of place. Like they were rendered at
Yeah.
a entirely different level, and it feels a little weird. Also, it like cuts through his hair.
I was just about to say they're like cut off a little bit.
Yeah. Oh well, we'll ignore it.
Make them look pretty cool in general though, so I'm a fan even if they look a little stupid sometimes. Who are you again?
One of the hottest prosecutors in the house.
Literally! Clavier Gavin. I came to get the party started. Legally, yeah? Gavin? Defense attorney Christoph Gavin's? Figures my bro's more famous in this part of town. Ignores the fact that I have an accent and he doesn't, it's fine.
I consumed my accent for power. Clavier Gavin, lead singer for the mega hit band, the Gavineers. You're out of your league, rock boy.
I know what you're thinking. You're out of your league, rock boy.
It's been a long time since I've fangirled this hard about something.
I know! True, my debut single, 13 Years Hard Time for Love, went platinum overnight.
Overnight? Damn.
That's just a hobby to me compared to this, yeah?
It's a way to flex.
He.
Talkative, aren't you? I like your affected Euro rock accent, by the way.
I'm just getting warmed up, air attorney, right? Perhaps you would be so kind as to fill us in on the case. Achtung, baby. Time to call on the opening act. What was his name again? Ah, yes. Detective Gumshoe.
Gumshoe!
Gumshoe! My boy!
It's been so long.
I missed him. I miss him still.
Well, you could just play Ace Attorney Investigations again.
I'd never want to do that again. Actually, I will say Gumshoe did get like a raise finally in I think Investigations 2, and that was awesome. Yeah. But like everything else about that game, it does him so dirty. It makes him so much dumber than he needs to be. It makes me so mad. Anyways, and you are? Who's Gumshoe? I mean, I can attempt to do like a shitty Brooklyn accent. I'm not very good at it, but...
I mean, I can give it a try.
Go for it.
Hey, you were the one who called me up here, sir. Name's Dick Gumshoe. I'm a homicide detective down at the precinct. I don't like it. It's not perfect, but it'll do.
Alright.
Detective Gumshoe. Long time no see.
Oh,
hey, you!
I'm frozen.
Huh? Me?
There you go.
Today's the day, pal. Today I win and you lose. I got confidence in my testimony today, see? Like you normally lack in confidence. What, you normally lack confidence in your testimony?
Detective, this is my stage. Can the antics.
Huh?
All this hey-youing and such. And I could care less about your history together.
That fucking line, by the way. Not fucking line. that saying that phrase. I hate it so much.
Yeah, because it's to say that you don't care. So saying you could care less doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because, like, that would mean you do care, based on, like,
Yeah.
the denotation of the words.
Yeah.
And,
It
like,
should be I
especially-
couldn't care less.
Yeah, it should be. It really should be. And, like, I was raised by 2 English majors, so, like, if they ever did say it, they would say it, like, the grammatically correct way. And so, I always say it that way. I always say it, like, I
Yeah.
couldn't care less. I always say that. But then everyone else walks around like, oh, I could care less. Like, motherfucker! Anyway, moving on.
Very well, Detective Gumshoe, if you would. Please tell us about the case at hand.
It happened 6 days back, in a room at the General Hospital.
Guy died.
The facts are as simple as they come. Here's the crime scene. The victim was a patient asleep in a hospital bed. The killer comes in, puts a pistol to his forehead, and bam, lights out. Them's the facts.
Oh, Gumshoe, how I love you. Not so long ago, the victim, Magnifi Grammary, was a famous man. Check out this cool drawing. He had the entire country under his magical spell, as it were. Holy shit, there's a Steak in the background.
Holy shit.
Finally found her. Ah, yes, the great magician. He retired years ago, though. Say the name Magnifi to one of my generation, and you'd be lucky to get a blank stare. Yes, though I'm sure the youngsters today know his disciples even better. I dare say Troop Grammary has made quite a name for themselves.
If Troop Grammary is that popular, you would think that their fandom would know of their history. Just saying.
True.
Fandoms tend to like history of the stuff they're a fandom of.
Yeah.
Just saying. Anyhow, the retired Magnifi's been in the hospital for the last year. What was it? Malignant tutor or something. Doing something to his liver, I think? Yeah.
A malignant tumor, perhaps? In other words, he had liver cancer. He had only 3 months left to live, in fact.
3 months. 1 second. Seems fate's clock will make me wait a little longer. At least only less than 10 swift minutes remain. To all those who have supported me in my life's work, I give thanks. Farewell. I wonder how this is gonna come into play, especially because it's forged.
Yeah.
Also, not to critique, but I know this is a video game, so you're just using fonts and typing it up. But realistically, no one's handwriting is consistent. One G is gonna look different than another G written later on the page.
Yeah.
Second, this looks like a piece of fucking printer paper, not paper out of a journal.
It does, yeah.
Has a totally different feel to it. Third of all, you better hope those tears are fucking exact. 'Cause for the love of God.
I mean, this 12-year-old's kind of got swag, so I think she's
Sure.
got it.
I mean, obviously, like, it passes, because, you know, Phoenix is disbarred.
True.
So, anyway, moving on.
The facts do seem simple enough. But something's not right. The victim was already climbing a 3-month stairway to heaven. Why not wait for him to knock, knock, knock on heaven's door? Why shoot him?
That's a really fucking put it quite so lyrically, but it's true. Why make the effort to commit murder when the victim was about to die? Incidentally, the victim had a serious case of diabetes. Diabetes?
In fact, he was about to shoot up with insulin. And he was shot with a pistol. The syringe was found at the crime scene.
Which syringe? The one taped to the mattress, or the one that's conveniently next to the gun?
Good question. Chronic diabetes and cancer. As much as it pains me to say it, the victim was clearly at the end of his life.
Okay, it was the captain one, I guess.
I believe the question before us is clear then. Why did the killer have to shoot this dying man? What reason could he have had?
Good question. I have no clue.
Very well, detective. Perhaps you can enlighten us to the circumstances of the shooting.
Yes, sir. Actually, the victim kind of ordered the defendant to do him in. A few days before it happened, the victim sent a letter ordering his own murder. The defendant did what was asked of him, and shot the old man in the forehead. The bullet was fired from the pistol found at the scene, no doubt about it. And the pistol definitely belonged to the old man, sir.
What? You're saying the victim ordered his own shooting? Those are the facts. I have here the letter in question.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
So, rather than a murder, this would be considered an assisted suicide?
Presumably.
But whatever, murder trial.
Yeah.
To my beloved student, Zach. To you, well, fuck you then. Okay.
Very unusual indeed.
Now I'm gonna fucking read it, because how dare you. To my beloved student, Zach. To you I entrust the task of lowering my life's curtain. Come on the 13th, 11:05 p.m. I will ready a gun with which you will shoot one shot, square in the forehead. You cannot refuse, and we both know the reason why.
That is interesting.
So, checks out.
Although, could such a thing as a letter really cause one to pull the trigger, I wonder?
Yeah.
I believe the answer to that question can be found at the end of the letter. Ah, you cannot refuse, and we both know the reason why. Sheriff Wumshu, can you explain this to the court?
Unfortunately, even the defendant won't say a peep about that bit, sir. One thing that bothers me about this, why didn't he just say 11? Why have him come at 11:05 without some specific reason?
The devil is in the details, Heir Attorney. Well, was there some reason? As it turns out, there was. Every night for half an hour, starting at 11:30. The victim, Magnifi Grammary, was given an IV.
An IV?
Yeah, it's that thing they put in you. Here it is in the picture off to the side of the bed. At 11, a doctor would come to set up the IV. 30 minutes later, he would come back for the empty bag. This happened every night without fail.
So that was the only time they could meet without the chance of an untimely interruption. During his IV.
Very well, shall we begin? Mr. Wright, your cross-examination if you would.
What's this reason he couldn't refuse, I wonder? could have at least mentioned it to me.
Circumstances.
I desperately need Apollo to see a picture of short-haired Clavier, because good God.
He would fucking start foaming at the mouth, dude. He would go batshit insane.
Absolutely, 100%. Alright. Just because he got the letter doesn't mean he went through with it.
Oh, I disagree.
What, were his fingerprints on the gun?
The victim was indeed shot in the forehead, after all, just as he had commanded.
It could be a setup. But let's not be in such a hurry. Maybe we should let the witness talk for a change. Thanks, pal.
Aw, Gumshoe. Fine. I can play it slow as well as I can play it slow as well as I can play it fast.
That song.
On with the testimony, Detective Gumshoe. Aw, Phoenix's hold it.
Yeah. God, it's been so long. And this letter was sent by the victim? There it is, got ya. You're all mine this time, pal. Huh? I had the handwriting checked out, of course. It's in the victim's. No mistake. Ah, I see. Score one for the boys.
Aw.
I didn't lose, I was just ascertaining the facts. So, why am I so annoyed?
I missed Phoenix's internal monologue, man.
Oh, yeah.
I missed everything about him. I love Phoenix.
Especially
Apollo's still my favorite.
a little shit. Because good God.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because, like, we're so used to having Phoenix and his internal monologue show that he's, like, kind of a dork and is, like, a little bit stupid sometimes, but when you're in Apollo's shoes, like, you don't get to see his internal monologue, you just get to see his poker face, and it's like, you start to understand, like, why, like, when he's up against Edgeworth or whatever, Edgeworth, like, starts to get nervous and stuff, because it's like, oh, fuck, like, he's a good attorney. Like,
Yeah.
we didn't realize, because we were him for so long, we're so used to him being silly.
Yeah.
A letter ordering your own death.
Also, like, this Phoenix and, like, the 7-8 year gap Phoenix feel almost like different characters.
Yeah,
Which
it's
is,
really
like,
interesting.
You know, there was character development, fucking obviously. That's how
Yeah.
that works, but it's such a stark difference. It's so interesting to see, and I fucking love it.
I will say that, like, having played Dual Destinies, like, kind of recently, that was one thing that kind of annoyed me about Dual Destinies, because, like, Phoenix is there again, but they kind of, like, ignore some of his character development, I feel, and then they also fuck with Apollo's character a little bit, so it's just like, man, like, why does this game exist? Like, I love Athena, but come on, like, give me something for Phoenix, give me something for Apollo, please.
Because Nick has his badge back by that point, you know?
Yeah, he gets back his badge, and then he goes back to being, like, regular old Phoenix, which, like, he's simultaneously, like, they tried to make him, like, the mentor character he kind of is in this game, while also being like, haha, it's goofy old Phoenix, we all know and remember him, right? And it's like, okay, does he have to be both simultaneously? Like, can't we... Like, there's gotta be either a good middle ground for that, or, like, just not have him be silly, goofy Phoenix again. Like, that's the only option.
So true. So true.
Anywhoosies, things aren't what they used to be, I guess.
I'm not sure this is exactly commonplace, even now, Your Honor. So, anyway, guess I'll keep going while I'm ahead. Hold it! How can you be so sure? Hey, you gotta learn to stop relying on people to do your thinking for you, pal. Learn to think for yourself. Get that noggin cranking. Fuck. You failed to wrong voice. You failed to grasp the concept of questioning, detective. But first we got this letter. It says, shoot in the forehead, loud and clear. I can see that, but I still wouldn't do it. Well, maybe you need to grow yourself a backbone, pal. You fail to grasp the concept of shooting people is bad, detective. We also found the defendant's pistol at the scene.
Traces of gunpowder residue shows that it had been fired recently. Well, Mr. Wright? As far as I can tell from looking at this photo, there seems to be no issue with the prosecution's claim.
Maybe.
The photo. Maybe there's something in there I can use. So if they're saying the defendant shot the victim in the forehead, I think there's a hole in the prosecution's argument. Clearly, Mr. Enigmar shot something else.
Yeah.
Looking at this photo, another possibility occurs to me.
Yes?
What does the letter tell us? That the defendant had a reason he couldn't refuse his teacher's wishes. Bingo, pal. That's why the defendant popped him one in the forehead. Oh, the defense disagrees. You see, the defendant had another choice he could make.
Objection!
What? And you can prove that with this photo?
Bet your ass I can.
Okay.
I can prove he had a choice, yes.
The defendant might have fired like he was ordered. But he didn't shoot the victim's forehead. Well, let's hear what you're thinking, Mr. Wright. Meanwhile, Quavier is like, forehead? Sounds like a good nickname for someone. I'll keep that in mind.
Take that!
Clown doll?
Take a closer look. See? It's been shot in the forehead too.
Ah! There's a hole in its forehead.
Yes, and a hole in the prosecution's
Objection!
clothes.
Ha! And I suppose you have a reason as to why he shoots the clown doll?
He didn't just shoot the doll, he shot the doll's forehead.
His forehead?
Oh my fucking god, all this forehead talk. And he hasn't even met Apollo yet. Let's read the orders once more, shall we? You will shoot one shot square in the forehead. Which is exactly what he did. He shot the clown doll square in the forehead.
The defense has raised an intriguing possibility. That hole in the clown's forehead. It definitely looks like it was shot.
Also, if his forehead...
Horseshit?
If his forehead was shot at point blank, there would be, like, some gunpowder residue. And I don't see any of that on the nightcap, or, like, on the rest of his forehead, or any of that.
True. Bailiff, send someone to investigate this matter.
Objection!
I admit, I'm impressed, but I expected nothing less.
He's so pretty.
Still, this doesn't mean he didn't shoot the victim.
Objection!
Jax's objection. So good. Perhaps he did have to shoot a forehead as ordered. But the letter says nothing about whose forehead. This was the only way he had to follow his orders without taking a life.
Bullet hole in the clown doll's forehead does demand an explanation. It might very well be true, yet Prosecutor Gavin is right. It alone does not prove the defendant's innocence. You cannot say for sure the defendant didn't shoot the victim. So sorry, Mr. Wright. How sad it is to see the mighty fall.
How sad it is to see the novice's overcompetence. Or whatever that word was. He doesn't realize just how big this little hole is going to get.
Detective Gumshoe, please take this newfound fact into account as you continue your testimony.
Hold it! Why are you so certain? What pile of sand has your head been stuck in all this time, pal? You never heard of Zack and Valen's quick draw shoot 'em? Huh? What's that? One of the defendant's specialties. Zack and Valen stand on either side of a girl. Then they shoot. But the bullets don't hit her. Instead, they hit everything else on stage. This is one of the pistols they used for their show. Got a great design, huh? The kids love it.
Many boys and girls join the police because of that pistol, I hear.
Ew, really? Ugh.
Yeah, very cringe.
For real. You know, that would explain a lot about the police force.
That's why my friend Darian joins the police. He's a great guy.
Troop Marie stopped doing that act a while ago. The old man held on to that pistol ever since.
Court would like to see the pistol in question.
You got it, sir. Here she is.
Well, this truly is a blast from the past.
What makes you say that? It's a strange pistol for magic shows, see? Oh, stage pistol. But it can fire real bullets.
Looks so much bigger in real life than on TV.
How big?
Very.
Yeah, but it can only hold one round. By the way, the pistol's firing chamber is empty, and it shows traces of having been fired recently. So, were any of the fingerprints found on the gun?
Unfortunately, no. Of course, the defendant is known for wearing gloves. You might say a lack of fingerprints is in fact a fingerprint of its own.
That's an interesting take. And I wish I could say you had some merit to it, but I don't think it holds up.
Aha! Intriguing point, well made.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Not well made, not intriguing.
In any case, the court accepts this evidence.
Oh, the gun. I thought he meant Clavier's thing for a second.
My grandchild would get a kick out of seeing this. But now it's time to return to our testimony.
Gun.
Objection!
The trickiest cases often seem the simplest. Prosecutor Gavin, you missed the bullet hole in the clown's forehead. If you hadn't missed that, you might have come to a very different conclusion. Understand? Yeah, but like I just said, pal. After he shot the clown in the forehead, he went and
Objection!
did nothing of the sort to the victim. The pistol proves he could not.
The murder weapon? How?
It's quite simple, Your Honor. The pistol only holds one bullet at a time. Ugh. If he had shot the clown in the forehead, he couldn't have shot the victim too.
Objection!
That's not a contradiction. Not even close.
Chin up, Clavier.
No. All he had to do was reload the pistol after the first shot.
Objection!
Oh, where did he get the extra bullet? They're not so easy to come by, you know. If you claim the defendant had one ready, then prove to us how he got it.
I had a feeling this wasn't over yet. No, this party's just getting started. I haven't proven anything yet beyond my good looks and startling record sales.
True. And utter lack of humility.
Ah, what's this? Seems the prosecution has yet another witness prepared. Like I said, our detective was just a warm-up act. Now that the audience has gotten a taste of what's to come, they're ready.
Are we?
Yeah.
Ready for what?
Ready to rock, just kidding. Ready for my decisive witness, of course.
Decisive.
The witness who, you will find, can prove one thing for us. That it was Zach Gramery who shot the victim in the forehead. Very well. Your pause for a 15-minute recess.
Seems like a gracious amount of time.
Yeah.
This might be my lucky break. I'll need that 15 minutes to talk to my client, Zach.
Court is adjourned.
Alright, well, that was that. I figured I'd put a few of these chapters together because some of the segments are really short, and it was better to just lump them in with this one rather than have some really short episodes, I thought. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out Kendra's channel, and I will see you later, whenever later may be.